The kidnapping and killing of Marion and Kyshawn Pittman, the teens' bodies found in the rubble of a burned-down home on Chase Street nearly 2 weeks after they were reported missing. 13 Action News reporter Alexis Means was in the courtroom when those sentences were handed down, and she's live now with the very latest. Alexis.
Diane, the judge said that the teenagers spent the last hours of their lives in horror, and it was because of Brent Kohlhofer and Charles Walker. So she sentenced the men to the max.
Therefore, it is hereby ordered that they serve as to count 2, life without parole, and as to count 3, 15 years to life.
Charles Walker and Brent Kohlhofer showed no emotion when the sentence was handed down. The men say they were falsely convicted in this case, but the prosecutor says these men should never see the streets for killing the 2 teenagers.
Not only kidnapping 2 teenagers, but kidnapping them and then murdering them and dumping their bodies in the basement of an abandoned home, naked, piled on top of each other, as if they were trash.
The mother of Kyshawn Pittman told the court her son was everything to her. She told the judge to sentence the men to the max. The judge said everyone involved played a role in the deaths of these boys.
There's plenty of guilt to go around in this case. Even those who were just there and did nothing to help these boys is truly appalling to the court. But this all started because of belief that they had wronged Mr. Kohlhofer. And from what the court got from this trial and the evidence, his right-hand man, Mr. Walker. The one thing the court could see in the co-defendant's testimony is that they clearly were not the brains behind this operation. This was orchestrated by the men who I believe sit before me today.
Marion Wilder's family declined to comment in court.
Walker and Kohlhofer are just 2 of nearly a dozen people who were charged in connection with the case. Corbin Gingrich pleaded guilty a month ago, but those records are sealed. Cruz Garcia took a plea deal and was convicted of involuntary manslaughter. Crystal LaForge Yingling and Diamond Rivera were both convicted of obstructing justice. 2 unnamed teens were also convicted, one for obstructing justice, the other for felonious assault. Gabriel Garcia is charged with murder and kidnapping. His trial set for a week from today.
Gabriel Garcia is the one I want to talk about in this video.
A judge sentenced Gabriel Garcia to 4 years behind bars. Garcia withdrew a not guilty plea to murder and kidnapping and pleaded guilty to 2 counts of abduction earlier this month. Those charges stem from the kidnappings and murders of Kyshawn Pittman and Marion Wilder back in 2022. Their bodies were found in the charred remains of a vacant home.
Prosecutors really love to win, and nothing makes them happier than when defendants cooperate. In Gabriel Garcia's case, how could he not take their plea deal? Garcia pleaded guilty to 2 counts of third-degree abduction. The words third degree are key. In the state of Ohio, only first and second degree abduction charges land you on the violent offenders registry. So we've got a kidnapper who helped lure, beat, and subdue 2 teenagers going to be a free man in a couple of years after being sentenced to a mere 4 years and given credit for 435 days time already served. The unsuspecting public will have no idea how diabolical he is. I'm just trying to make sense of the judge's lens on the case. The court appreciates that not everyone's part was equal. It just doesn't change the outcome. The harm in this case just outweighs everything else. If all involved, including the 2 victims, were adults, then I might understand the judge's perspective. But the victims were children, a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. As the story goes, one of the victims was dating the niece of one of the men involved, and the victim allegedly stole his gun. Led by suspicion only, 10 adults conspired to kidnap, torture, kill, and dispose of 2 children in a house they burned down. Charles Walker and Brent Kohlhofer received life sentences. From my perspective, any adult that played a part in harming or covering up the murder of 2 children deserves a life sentence as well. Garcia's stance is Yeah, I helped lure, beat, and tie up the victims, but I had no idea they ultimately would be tortured and killed. If that's true, then why didn't he come forward and alert the authorities, either before or after the house was burned down? The only reason we know about Garcia's role is because the other 11 people involved told on him.